Welcome to SaberCat Stadium in Houston, Texas for tonight's MLS Next Pro match between Houston Dynamo 2 and Colorado Rapids 2. It's actually the third meeting between these two clubs this year, and both have been wins for Colorado. Hello everyone, I'm Maura Sheridan. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's a busy day across MLS Next Pro, as are most Sundays. In the fall, these are two Western Conference foes, but they are in very different spots so far on the season. Including this game, only 3 games left in MLS Next Pro regular season as we take a look at the standings here in the West. So Colorado in last place right now. This is a team that has already been eliminated from the postseason. As for Houston, absolutely need to start picking up points. As I mentioned, including this game, only 3 games left in the regular season. 8 teams make the playoffs. And so right now it would be Timbers and up that would make the postseason in the West. But you can see there's just a point difference between Houston and that playoff line. So a lot could change tonight. As we take a look at the starting 11 for Jeremy Hurdle, it's a 4-3-3. Valdez back in net. And this is a team, as I said, at home looking to win. Diego Gonzalez is going to be the player to watch out for. The captain is the engine for this entire offense on the Houston side. 9 assists this year. He'll tag up with Silla, who has 7 goals this year for Houston. As for Colorado, coached by Eric Boucher, also in a 4-3-3. As I said, they're eliminated, but sometimes those can be the most dangerous teams. Defensively, they've given up a lot of goals this year, so they're going to lean on their captain Flores to make a difference here tonight. Swan scored the last time these two teams played, and Daniel Chacon is back. Chacon is working his way back from an ACL tear, so good to see him in the starting 11 tonight at that center back role. For Chacon, it's just his 3rd appearance on the 2024 season. Kalen Radosov is our center official. Houston in the purple and orange kits. Colorado wearing white tonight. One final meeting before we kick off SaberCat Stadium in Houston, Texas. Just speaks to how tight the Western Conference is and how you never know what's going to happen. The fact that Colorado, the only team eliminated here in the West, has beaten Houston twice already this year. We'll see if third time's a charm for Dynamo 2, who starts with possession, and we're underway. It was Silla who works his way back here for Dynamo 2. Both these teams coming off losses. Dynamo 2 is a very important one, as already in the box here for Houston. Enor sends it wide and it's intercepted. Tight to the corner, ripped away. Shifty and trying to split the defense, dispossessed. Enor, Silla looks to turn and fire. Just outside the 18. Then it's launched up, back to the midfield here in Houston. Barrett. Gonzalez. Diego Gonzalez, 4 goals, 9 assists for Houston. But as I said, lost to Austin last week, 3-1. It was a litmus test for Houston. They needed to win. Austin's just above them in the standings here in the Western Conference, and instead lost by 2 goals. Ping-pongs around the midfield. Silla tries to create some separation. Set is with Rapids too. Campagnolo sends that into the stands. Now the young goalkeeper making his 7th appearance with Rapids too. Schmidt off the swing. Rodriguez. Silla plays it long, into space now. DiMorelli swerves. Multiple defenders surround, and it's touched away by Rapids 2. But you can see already under a lot of pressure. Rapids 2 defensively. Houston looking strong in the opening minutes at home, understanding that they're the more desperate side. Eric Boucher said, ultimately his goal is for this team in these final 3 games, for Rapids 2 to just enjoy themselves, because they cannot make the postseason. For Houston, the goal is to make the postseason. And sometimes that can make a team like Rapids 2 just play a little looser. There's not a lot of weight for Colorado right now. And Houston has made the postseason each of the last 2 seasons. Moving centrally, DiMorelli turns it over. Bit of a light pass, and it's given away. Strelnauer. A foul right in that circle. Souza wanted to get up and go. Instead, it's going to be a free kick for Houston. And Colorado coming off a 1-0 loss to Sporting Kansas City 2. And it was a very disappointing result because they lost in stoppage time in the second half. Played a good game. Boucher said he was happy with the way his side handled that game. Just didn't create enough chances to find the back of the net themselves. And then it just all came down to a final goal for Alexandre on the Sporting Kansas City 2 side. And that's been a story, Boucher said, for Rapids 2 this year. Just a couple bad minutes, and it cost them games. Schmidt. Centers. That's going to roll out for Houston. Alvarado, the 16-year-old. One thing to note with Rapids 2, this is a very young group, especially today. Garcia, also 16, has it swiped. Schmidt, bounced around by Jones. Nate Jones, center back for Rapids 2, 23 years old. Uses his keeper. The 5th overall pick in the 2024 MLS Super Draft at the University of Washington. Schmidt. Bit of an awkward cut there, but still with Houston. Xavier Valdez is in net for Dynamo 2. Barrett. Back on the flank. And just some pressure for Rapids 2. Valdez, the 20-year-old, just walks it up. Waiting for someone to pounce. Draws the defense in. And breaks some lines. And Colorado scored 36 goals this year. Just 108 shots on target. That's 3rd to last in Next Pro. And the 36 goals, that's 3rd least in the Western Conference. But really the problem has been the -14 goal difference. given up 50 goals this year, Colorado. Frederick. Garcia. 3 goals and 1 assist. Garcia on the year. Sends it in the box. It's headed away by Schmidt. Driven up the flank. DiMorelli. It's touched away by Alvarado. DiMorelli's 15 years old. He does have a goal and 3 assists on the MLS NEXT Pro season. So cemented himself into the starting lineup for Houston. Well, the Dynamo not bleeding goals at the same rate that Colorado is, but still allowed 41 this year. A -2 goal difference, having scored 39. DiMorelli. Tackled away. Campagnolo. Just trying to get it out of Rapids 2 and their own end. Well, in general, Houston's done very well at home this year. 6 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws. And in total, Dynamo 2 have 8 wins. So just 2 wins on the road. Meaning history on their side in this game. Valdez. Rodriguez. Frederick sticks the leg out. Swan looking for a cross. Push back. Slammed off a defender in Rodriguez. Frederick still fighting for it. Now it's Schmidt. Creates some space now. And it's out of play. Alvarado, the academy product, on the throw. Swan. Tripped up and fouled. A free kick on the way. Colton Swan, 17 years old, does have a goal, his lone goal against Dynamo 2 in their August matchup. Here's a look at that foul again. Yeah, just gets stepped on. Josue Sosa, the Brazilian. Aguirre will take this for Rapids 2. Standing over the ball, looking to take the lead on the road. Aguirre, off his left foot, bends it up. And towards the back post. A little too much air time. Valdez able to square and snag. Take a look at this again. A lot of height. No problem for Valdez. We're 10 minutes in, no score yet between Houston and Colorado. MLS NEXT Pro. What's interesting is that since these two teams have played twice before, there's a lot of history this season. And in both games, the XG, the shots, everything has been higher for Houston, and yet it was Colorado that came out with 2 victories. And so for Dynamo 2, searching for not just 3 points, but an opportunity to prove to themselves that they can take down Rapids 2 and be clinical, I think, in the box. Scored just a goal in each against Colorado, and in that first game, gave up 3, lost 3-1 way back in June. It was June 23rd. Second game was August 3rd. Alvarado. Takan, first teamer. Mentioned this in the open, but tore his ACL last year, so he's been slowly working his way back into the lineup. He's made now 3 starts, but he only went 30 minutes in the last game against Sporting Kansas City. We'll see how long he can go today. I'm sure he's on a minutes restriction of sorts. Barrett. Alvarado. Amadou. Muscled away. Rodriguez calling for it. Barrett in his first start this season. Swan with some pressure. Valdez. Jones lofts it up. Strelnauer tumbles down. Anor. Oh, he wanted to turn and go. The last time he touched it. Still aggressive. Let's see, even Anor, 21-year-old, is definitely going to be an X factor for Houston. We'll see if he's the one that can tally 3 goals and an assist this year. Gonzalez off the takeaway, whips it across. It's a square ball. No call in the box. It's a clean takeaway for Colorado. Now they want to counter as well. Swan plays it wide. Up the right flank. Here comes Rapids 2. Swerving towards the middle, a light shot, and Valdez has it, no problem. But Houston still lingering on that no call in the 18. Barrett. Alvarado. Amadou. Oh, Amadou's made 57 appearances now for Rapids 2. That's second all time. First all time, Aguirre, also on the pitch right now for Rapids 2. That's 61 appearances. Jones skips that one up the left flank. Alvarado gives it chase. Swan shifty on the ball. And plays it towards the top of the box, and it's broken up. Strelnauer. And we have a whistle. Oh, the flag goes up against Rapids 2. Valdez. His 16th start this year. Well, the Houston keeper has made 48 saves. Schmidt. Zilla. Flag goes up. A little too good to be true for DiMorelli. Trying to sneak in behind on a long ball. Jacan. Foul called, drawn by Rapids 2. It was Flores. Actually, excuse me, Garcia, who got fouled. Rogelio Garcia. Jones. When I talked to Eric Boucher, he said Jones has been one of the most improved players, which maybe you don't expect to see a name like that considering how high he was picked in the MLS Super Draft, but he said he's been like a sponge this year, and he appreciates that. He certainly has the tools, Jones, to grow out of MLS Next Pro. A left-footed center back. Was originally picked by Austin and then traded to Colorado. It's been a staple on this back line for Rapids too. As I mentioned, that's sort of taken its lumps this year. DiMorelli playing the advantage now for Houston. It's a little bit off from Schmidt, or to Schmidt, I should say, from Sosa. Aguirre skips to Jones. Surveys. Strelnauer. DiMorelli's been really impressive. 15 years old. Plays with so much confidence. On the ball is a lot of pace, and defensively, he's been giving Rapids 2 some problems. Jacan. Aguirre. Jones pushing the pace a little. Strelnauer. Underlapping run. Alvarado is boxed out there. Awadesu, the 23-year-old Philadelphia native, on the back line for Houston. Big Ten Defender of the Year in 2022. And to Valdez, his keeper. Valdez stands at 6'6". Towers over even the center backs. We're 20 minutes in, no score yet between Houston and Colorado. Jones sprinting back. Anor on his back. Anor gets turned around and looks a little bit uncomfortable. Perhaps got knocked boots there with Jones. Strelnauer moves it towards the top of the 18. His shot is blocked. It's Barrett who steps to. Got a whistle and the flag goes up against Anor. Anor, the 26 overall pick at a University of Virginia. This is the Strelnauer opportunity. Just doesn't get enough space to really fire a shot. Credit to Barrett, who stayed with him the whole time. Heading into this match, Barrett had only played 79 minutes on the MLS Next Pro season. Strelnauer being pushed by Barrett. It's jolted out of play by Houston and DiMorelli. Frederick falls down, and here comes a free kick for Colorado. Aguirre, who takes a lot of the set pieces, corners, and otherwise for Colorado, just uses his center back in Jones, switching the point of attack. Chacon. Flores. Boucher talking about Steve Flores this week. Said he really had to fight for his professional career. He's proud of how Flores has shown up. That's a hard hit, and we'll get a whistle because of the contact to the face. Awadesu. Schronauer's down as well. I think some blood here. Right to the nose, Awadesu. Schronauer splits the D. Moves up towards the middle, and then he fires a shot. Of course, he's late to it, and it's right into Awadesu. If nothing else, it's going to sting. Schronauer's up as well, sort of limping. Does not look 100%. Well, Awadesu able to walk off and continue. He'll have to wait a beat to come back on. I'm glad to see he's all right. Any sort of point-blank contact, it's not comfortable. And I think there's a little bit of blood, and so that is the holdup here with Awadesu. Radosav's side, and it's his lip. Awadesu. We're 25 minutes in. There hasn't been an abundance of chances for either of these teams. Rodriguez gets turned around. And it's right to Hurdle, Jeremy Hurdle. This is his third match as the interim head coach for Dynamo 2. Kenny Bundy was the head coach, and now he's an interim assistant coach with Rapids 2, or excuse me, with the Colorado Rapids first team. Barrett. Jones off the header. Frederick turns on the Jets. It's tackled away in the nick of time there for Barrett. Did look like Frederick was going to break loose. The first teamer. Goal and 2 assists for Frederick in his next pro season. Silla. Promising, back to Silla in the box. Tangled up, goes down. It's a penalty. So dynamic on the ball. Usman Silla. Nice little read here. Quick pass, Silla. He's bounced around by multiple defenders, but ultimately it's Amadou who from behind, I think, steps on Silla. And it does look like it's going to be Diego Gonzalez, the captain, who will take this penalty. Dynamo 2 with an opportunity to take the lead at home. Campagnolo, the 17-year-old keeper, Gonna be tested here for Rapids too. One final swig of water for Campagnolo. Gonzalez steps back, ready to go from the spot. Gonzalez hits. The captain buries it. Houston Dynamo 2 takes a 1-0 lead. Well, it was well placed. Had a lot of power to that one too. Would have been tough to stop. A well-taken penalty from the 21-year-old. Well, Houston has not been in the final third much in this game. And yet, a nice little transition opportunity results in a penalty. It's Silla who creates, and it's Gonzalez who finishes from the spot. And that's sort of the dynamic duo offensively for Houston, so it doesn't surprise me that those two were involved in what resulted in a lead for Dynamo 2. Still plenty of game to be played. For Houston, they've had one of every result in the last 3 games. Looking to grab 3 points after that loss against Austin last week. Well, the Rapids now find themselves down a goal on the road. They do have 3 wins away from home this year. 1 against Houston earlier this season. Awadesu is back on the pitch, by the way. Appears to be all right. Anor making a run. Looking to get around Chakan. Those two battling. And it's a throw for Rapids 2. It's going to take us to the hydration break here in the first half. Of course, we're in Houston, so makes sense. Let's take a look at how we got to this score. Just moments ago, Houston took the lead, and it started from this transition opportunity. Silla gets into a pocket of space in the box. They sort of bounce around defenders. Ultimately, it's Amadou who fouls him, and then it's Diego Gonzalez with now his 5th goal of the year. Cool, calm, and collected from the spot. And he makes it 1-0, Dynamo 2 in control. And for Houston, with 3 games left, including this one, so really, 2 and change on this MLS Next Pro season, 3 points can move them in the standings so much. It's so tight there in the middle of the pack here in MLS Next Pro. And playoffs have been expanded, so 8 teams will get in the Western Conference. And they can pop some teams here if Houston can pull off a victory against Colorado. And next, the Dynamo 2 take on Tacoma on the road. That's going to be a difficult trip. Well, meanwhile, for Colorado, just trying to play spoiler right now. And as Eric Boucher said, end on a positive note. And for these players, they're professionals. They want to win, and it's been 5 games without a win for Colorado. 4 losses and a draw. The last win was all the way back in August. That was August 7th at Vancouver. So it's been a frustrating stretch for Rapids 2. And there's been a couple of outliers, but most mostly they haven't been getting blown out this year. It's been 1-goal losses here and there, and just some bad moments. Oh, with plenty of time left in this game, we'll see if they can make things interesting. It will be Alvarado to throw it in for Colorado as we resume play after the hydration break in the first half. Amadou. Houston calling for a foul, not going to get one. Schulnauer. Flores. Intercepted by Schmidt. Valdez. Valdez just going to keep going as the defense finally bites. Honor. Off the hop. Campagnolo. 19 saves this year for the Fort Myers, Florida native. Does have some caps with the U.S. men's national team, the youth levels, U16 and U17. Frederick. Into the box. Being pestered. Pushed back by the defense. Alvarado on the overlapping run. Was looking to combine there and ends up with Valdez. Garcia was the option. Barrett off the roll. Garcia. Swan. With the Rapids trying to force a turnover. Waiting for their moment. Awadesu. Long ball over the top. If Anor can get there. Instead it's Shakan. Aguirre. Knocked around and gets fouled. Might have got stepped on too. Well, he did lose his cleat. And Rodriguez is going to get a warning for time wasting on that. It's his last warning. Sebastian Rodriguez, a 17-year-old who's played now started 23 games for Houston. We've got roughly 10 minutes to go in this first half. It's Gonzalez's PK, that's the difference. Alvarado. Silla chips it to nobody. Aguirre. Turned over. Rodriguez last to touch. And Boucher flips it to Alvarado. Amadou. And no one really has clean possession. Here we go again. Tapped away. Gonzalez. Barrett. Floats that one to Valdez. And it's really just been Valdez and this defense trying to get Swan to move up so they can let their runners go like Honor and whip in some long balls, but we haven't seen many be successful for Houston. Valdez. Once again, strolls up. Awadesu. Nice ball. Lenore. Gonzalez. Schmidt, 27-year-old. Very experienced player, first teamer for Dynamo too. Also played for Al Salt Lake on the first team level as well. Valdez again holds, plays it out from the back here for Dynamo too. Houston runs out of room. DiMorelli in front of the bench. That's a throw for Alvarado. Nice ball. Garcia offside. A restart for Houston. Valdez is going to send everyone forward. Jones. Controlled now by Dynamo 2. Barrett. Awadesu. Tight to the touchline, and Garcia's the last to touch. Barrett. Anor rising for it, but it's Jones who heads it away. Has the height advantage on Anor. Barrett, Anor, two college superstars. Barrett. Awadesu. It's a quick swing for Houston. Schmidt surges forward. Lays it wide to Silla. Back post. Header. Snagged. Campagnolo grabs out of the air, but Gonzalez with a good opportunity. That's one of the better builds that we've seen from Dynamo 2. Campagnolo. Swan got the call. He stands up and picks the ball up. He's being bothered by Houston players. Schmidt. Valdez. Skies. To the midfield. Laguirre. Just a drop ball hit our center official. Desu, Schmidt. A positive touch there, but grabbed by Shakan. Aguirre. Flores. Swan. Schellnauer was calling for it. Now he makes a run. Too far ahead. Shaded out nicely by Desu. Desu. Valdez. Rodriguez. Schmidt. Souza. Gonzalez was calling for it on the weak side. Now he gets it. Barrett. Desu. Campagnolo. Jones for Colorado. Searching for the equalizer before the break. Down a goal. Alvarado. Gave it his best shot. Morelli.
May I have your attention, please? The fourth official of the side.
So we're going to get 6 minutes of stoppage time. We did have a long injury, and then we also had a hydration break. Things getting a little chippy, as to be expected when you've played a team 3 times. Amadou and Gonzalez. Down to Amadou is the one who committed the foul in the box. Stepped on Silla's heel. Nothing much. Frederick. Wheels forward, centers, and is dispossessed there by Barrett. Flores weaving through, looking to shoot from distance, and he stepped on. It's a yellow card. It was quite late by Souza. Josue Souza gets booked for that one. It's the first yellow we've seen.
May I have your attention, please?
And it's going to be a good spot for a free kick for Flores. However, we'll see if he's able to continue. Got clipped hard. Flores up, trying to walk it off. Aguirre No surprise, he stands over the ball. Into stoppage time. And this provides one of the better set piece opportunities we've seen really from either side. Aguirre from Fairfax, Virginia. An academy product that's now a staple with this Next Pro side for Colorado. Off his left foot, and Swan, whole pile up. Amadou goes down, Honor as well. And it went off of Houston, so it is a corner for Colorado. Get another crack at it. Off the corner, an in-swinger header, just over the crossbar. Chacon, that would have been pretty. The center back rising for it. This is a well-taken corner and a good spot. Chacon, just a little bit high on that one. Garcia trying to pepper Valdez. Alvarado. Amadou slots it forward. Heel pass Frederick. Just a bit of a heavy touch. And we have a foul before anything that happened in the box. It's Frederick who draws the foul. And Colorado was just playing the advantage on that one. We'll see this again. That's a really good ball from Amadou. And then a clear push in the back. Awadesu just taking out Frederick on that one. And all of a sudden, things are progressing in a positive manner for Colorado. And we've got about a minute left in this half. This is the third set piece in the last couple of minutes for Rapids 2. Aguirre off his left foot, Swan the option through the air, and nobody gets there. It will be a corner. That was a little deja vu, very similar moment to the last free kick we saw for Rapids 2. Aguirre on the corner. And we'll see if it's Chacon through the air. I'm sure Nate Jones, a good option as well, the two center backs. A little bit of pushing and shoving going. Aguirre on an in-swinger. Chacon again, punched away. Valdez read that one nicely, knew where it was going. Opportunity for a second ball, cross in. Jones muscles and keeps it with Alvarado. Garcia on the wing. Shifty on it, tangled up and fouled. It's a short corner essentially for Rapids 2. So this is, I think, 5 now set piece opportunities to end this half for Colorado. I think they'll be kicking themselves if they don't convert on one of these. Aguirre on the outswinger, a little bit low for Jones. And it's booted high and out for Dynamo 2. So, Houston takes the lead on a penalty. Drawn by Silla, converted by Gonzalez. And Houston is up 1-0 on Colorado after 45 minutes of play here at SaberCats Stadium. Coming up, we take another trip to the coach's corner after this timeout.
Toda mi gente lo siente. 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 Toda mi gente caliente. Toda mi gente lo siente. Toda mi gente suena. En la favela suena. El techo se me llena. Toda mi gente lo siente.
Action.
Vamos, dale pues, vamos allá, muévete más loco como solo tú sabes. Así es, con las manos en la cabeza, sacúdete, sacúdete, mira, sacúdete.
Listen up, all eyes on me. I'll show you who you wanna be. Hey, yeah, yeah, hey. Oh wow, wow, wow. It's going down, down. You don't want to miss that. It's the new sound. It's the new sound. It's the new sound.
Welcome back. Whitecaps FC2 are looking to make the MLS Next Pro playoffs for the first time ever. Michelle Montaigne caught up with the head coach, former MLS great Ricardo Clark, in the latest edition of Coach's Corner.
What's up, guys? We're back for another edition of Coach's Corner, this time in Vancouver, Canada, with head coach of Whitecaps FC2, Ricardo Clark. Rico, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Second full year as the head coach of this club. What has been the biggest lesson that you learned from year number one that you've used here in year number two?
Yeah, I'd say a big lesson is just learning how to manage the second team environment in general, right? Obviously, as a coach, you're naturally turning into a leader, and then you're managing your staff, you're managing players, but within the dynamic of a second team, you're managing up and below, if you get what I say. So, so many different unpredictable factors with the second team. So with all that, you try to, get as organized as you can going into the season, but also just be ready to adapt week to week, but even day to day, right? And integration is something we've sort of tried to evolve within the club and in the second team environment. And with that becomes a lot of unpredictability, right? Yeah, I say within that, just growing in that role and growing in the development space and managing all that to make sure we're getting the most out of the players, I'd say is an area of growth for me through this year after learning from last year.
When it comes to the postseason specifically, you guys are once again kind of hovering right there around that playoff line. What did you learn from last year that you can use to change your playoff fate for this season?
Surprisingly, I think this year we've actually, I'd say, put less focus on making the postseason. I think how we approached, or at least the mindset we tried to approach this year with, especially with instilling it amongst the players, is to just focus on the day-to-day, right? Focus on the day-to-day, how you're maximizing the opportunity, whether you're with the second team, whether you're a second team player with the second team player with the first team for the day, whether you're an academy player in with the second team or even first team, just making sure whatever comes about for the day, you're maximizing it, taking advantage of the opportunity and looking to become better within that moment, right, within that day. And then obviously, you progress throughout the week, and on the match day -1, the match day, okay, then it's about in the second team environment, how are we gathering as much information as possible then contributing it to the game, to perform individually, to help the collective, right, to hopefully have a good performance, and then hopefully the result takes care of itself. I would say with that, the group has done well to sort of take on that mindset, and we found ourselves with 4 games left in the season and right in the playoff hunt. So what we've done, we've kind of corralled the group together, especially the leaders amongst the group, the more experienced players, and asked them what they want. Over these last 5 games, you know, they said they really want to compete to make the playoffs. Okay, so we've set our objectives for the end of the season. We really are taking the approach of having a playoff mindset and making the playoffs this season, and you know, now it's about the action steps within that to hopefully make that happen for the players.
As a former player yourself, I'd imagine a lot of that mindset comes from your experience of going through match day -1, match day, you know, having to deal with the ups and downs of the season. What do you find yourself using most from your playing days now as a coach?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, but one thing in particular is sort of having that feeling or empathy for what the player is feeling in the moment, right? To hopefully get them to respond or to motivate them, right? I know players respond to different things, different people, but I think I try to leverage, you know, me being in their shoes at one point, whether it's just for a match day, whether it's just for their general careers, and motivating them to hopefully have a sustainable and long career. But I think, again, like I said, just being in their shoes, finding ways and methods for them to respond, to hopefully have them perform for the short term and the long term. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. You touched on the uniqueness of being the head coach of this kind of intermediary level. With that in mind, how do you define success for the club this year? I know you talked about the playoff mindset, but in general, how do you define success?
Yeah, I define success by, I would say, first of all, developing as many players as possible and helping them reach their full potential, right? With that, you know, there's objectives there, right? How many players can we prepare and develop to make sure they're ready for a first team level, right? Obviously, it can get better, but I think in regards to a decent amount of players, I feel like some players have reached that level to this part of the season. Obviously, only so many players can make it. So then it's, okay, if it's not here, how we prepared them for maybe another first-team environment, right, elsewhere, so that, again, so they can hopefully have a sustainable and long career to keep going about fulfilling their passion.
A long career like this guy had. For you specifically, been in Canada 4 years technically. What has been the most surprising thing to you living in a country where you never lived before joining the staff here?
Yeah, so it's another good question. I would say on the soccer side, I've learned a lot just in regards to just the environment, the Canadian environment, the player pool, especially in Vancouver, sort of trying to navigate through that environment, if you want to say, and the dynamics within that. I think we've tried to provide as many platforms, high-level platforms for these players to develop in and get challenged in, which is, like I said, a different dynamic than maybe in the US. So we want to move towards providing those opportunities for those players the best we can, right? And I think we've made strides with that. Off the pitch, I would say, man, I need to go on more hikes, right? Vancouver is a beautiful place. You know, there's so much to do outdoors, especially in the summertime. Beautiful climate, beautiful scenery, and it's definitely on my bucket list to really go on a proper hike. I just haven't made the time yet, but everybody gives me crap for not getting out as much as I should. But food is great, great cafes, great restaurants, great people. So, you know, my family has adapted, my kids have adapted, coming from Houston, Texas, right? So they're bought into, you know, Dad, we go over wherever Dad wants you know, so he can fulfill his passion and his dream and his job, right? So
That's awesome. How does it feel to have that support?
yeah, it feels awesome. It feels awesome. They've they're sort of used to it, if
Yeah.
you want to say, through my playing career and now
Yeah.
my coaching career. So I'm happy to have that support and adaptability that the family is able to provide.
Well, we're happy to have you in this league. Rico, thank you so much for the time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That does it for this edition of Coach's Corner. Best of luck to the Whitecaps FC2 as they try to make it to the playoffs this year.
Toda mi gente lo siente, toda mi gente lo siente, toda mi gente lo siente, y toda mi gente lo siente, toda mi gente caliente, toda mi gente lo siente. Toda mi gente suena, en la favela suena, el techo se me llena, toda mi gente lo siente.
Action.
All right, MLS store, I need something fresh and clean. Let's see what you got. I need that in my size. It's not like this. Cream on cream? The fit is cold. I'm ice cream. You like that?
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule in MLS Next Pro. Had some games Thursday and Friday night, two of which went to kicks from the spot. And then Monday and Tuesday, we have some MLS Next Pro action. 3 games on Monday, and then Atlanta United 2 taking on Minnesota United 2 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Things coming down the wire in MLS Next Pro as we're seeing teams get eliminated today and in these next couple of days from the postseason, and teams clinch as well. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights from this one. This is the first set piece that we saw from Aguirre and Colorado. The Rapids eliminated from the postseason, just trying to pick up 3 points on the road and have a positive experience in these last couple of games against Houston Dynamo 2. Nothing much there, and then this one created Silla with a nice cut. Ball fed to him, and he gets tangled up and fouled in the box, so it's a penalty. Stepping up to the spot is Diego Gonzalez. He finishes, and it's a 1-0 lead for Houston. We saw a series of set-piece opportunities for Rapids 2 at the end of the first half, but they couldn't convert on any of them. These are the stats from your first 45 minutes. So we've only seen 5 shots combined, 3 shots on target combined, and Houston's in control right now. There hasn't been a lot of this game has been played in the midfield, to be fair, as these two teams are just kind of feeling each other out in the first 45. We'll see what changes Colorado makes to ignite this offense. This was a scoreline 1-0 the last time Rapids 2 played. It was a 1-0 loss to Sporting Kansas City 2, so they don't want to be shut out for the second game in a row. Looks like Joshua Baluz is getting ready to come in. So not really a surprising sub here. Baloo's in and Chacon comes out. Had mentioned Chacon, he went 30 minutes in the Sporting Kansas City game. Now he goes 45 as he returns from an ACL injury, so he's not 100%, cannot go 90 quite yet. Baloo, 6'6", will enter the game for Rapids to trying to launch a comeback. Final words from the coaches. Houston's ready to go. Boucher talking to his Rapids 2 team before we kick off in the second half. We're at SaberCat Stadium in Houston, Texas. I'm Maura Sheridan. Appreciate you joining me here. This Sunday night game between Houston Dynamo 2 and Colorado Rapids 2. Diego Gonzalez and his penalty goal. His 5th goal of the year.
Substitution in
Right now it's a game winner.
leaving the field, number 35, Daniel Chacon, coming into the field.
All right, looks like Rapids 2 is ready to go. It's the visitors who will start with possession, a team that has not won in 5 games. It's Swan who gets us going. Balouz. Flores. Fouled by Silla. We really have some premier college players in this game. Silla won the Mac Herman Trophy last year in 2023 with Clemson. Second round pick for Houston. And we saw him create the penalty in the first half. I think Houston would like to get him on the ball more. Anor on the ball a little bit more. And their captain Gonzalez. Anor. DiMorelli. Now it's Barrett who will throw it in. No changes for Houston at the half. Valdez. Only saw one shot on target in that first half. Amadou slides. There's an advantage now for Houston. Silla on the ball. Shoots that right into the defense. Balouz was there. Gonzalez reaching for it in the corner now with Alvarado. Rodriguez nearly earns it back. Instead, it's Rapids 2. Looking at transition now. Amadou. Flores. Slicing through, and it's tapped away. Souza, who is playing on a yellow, he's the only player that got booked in that first half. Lose the handle on it, and well, it's back with Colorado. Balouz. Schmidt through the air. Up the flank now for Colorado. Picking up speed, Garcia. Dishes it wide, looking for a cross. Garcia fighting for it on the ground, too aggressive. Bear got taken down, and it will be a free kick for Houston. as the regular season comes to an end in the next couple of weeks, Houston needs to hang on to this lead. Those 3 points could help them climb in the standings and make the postseason. They are not out of it yet in 2024. Anor rising for it. Baluz, the Syracuse product. Amadou. Frederick. Flores. Stepped on by Anor. Frederick. Trying to juke out a defender. Insilla. Rodriguez does well. Keeps it in. Just kidding. Amadou. Swan takes a little push in the back. And Medina gets called for that one. It is a free kick for Colorado. Frederick lifts this one. He's headed towards the back post, and Garcia just couldn't quite connect. Amadou. Swan. Head on a swivel, uses Frederick. Medina. Frederick, aggressive, slides forward. Swan had fallen, and so it made that run difficult. Now 51 goals allowed for Rapids 2 on the MLS Next Pro season. They have a minus 15 goal difference at the moment. And you know, they have the least amount of free kicks in MLS Next Pro, but because of the high volume of fouls committed by Houston, 10 in that first half, Colorado had the advantage in terms of set pieces, yet they couldn't convert, especially at the end of the game in stoppage time. Had 5 in a row, whether it was corners or close range free kicks. Awadesu. Now he gets a call. Medina. Valdez. Barrett. Anor. Awadesu. And Valdez slows the pace again. Played long from Valdez, looking for Anor, streaking towards net. Silla. Medina. Awadesu. Medina. not on the same page, slightly in front of Medina. And it will be a throw for Rapids too. Flores. Jones. Alvarado hesitates, now he goes. Motors forward, being pestered there by Di Morelli. Aguirre. Garcia has it swiped. Awadesu and Garcia going at it. Just a little bit of a shove, really, from both of them. Radosov, our center official, races over and just separates the two, but we'll see this again. It's Garcia. He's dispossessed there, and then he fouls and kicks at the ball after the call, hence the shove. Awadesu deservedly frustrated on that, and that is why Garcia is getting a lengthy talking to from our center official. Awadesu. Valdez. Schmidt. Lofts it up. And it was Gonzalez trying to leap for it. Flores. We're 10 minutes into the second half. Score still 1-0. It's still that Diego Gonzalez penalty that gave Houston the lead. Oh, we have a player down for Dynamo too. Training staff's gonna come out. And he's motioning to his head. I hate to see that. Well, Dynamo 2 has not been able to beat Colorado in 2 tries already this season. See if they can pull it off in the 3rd game, and perhaps the most important when you just think about what Houston needs standings-wise. So it's Souza who's down. And they're discussing on if they can use a concussion sub here. I don't think that's going to be the case. It does look like Isaiah Reed is getting ready to come in at some point for Houston. There's Souza. He's talking to his head coach in Jeremy Hurdle. It doesn't look like Souza's going to be able to continue. Jefferson Valverde in. Di Morelli out.
May I have your attention, please?
And then we're going to see Reed come in. And that's going to take out Souza.
Leaving the field
So
with
that
number
is a
3,
concussion
Mariano
sub
Varela.
used.
Coming into
The
the
read
field, number
change
11.
as Souza took a knock to the head.
Isaiah Reed. Also leaving the field, number 48.
Valdez.
Souza coming into the field, number 13. Jefferson Valverde.
And Colorado has just not been able to create much in this game. And I wonder if there's some subs that they could make. Bring in some fresh legs. And just go for it at this point. Colorado has nothing to lose. I mean, obviously they could lose this game, but it's not like they're going to hurt themselves in the standings. They're in last place in the West right now. Silla, Schmidt, back post. No one there, no one on the end of that as Silla goes down in the 18. Swan, looking to transition now for Colorado. Frederick was the target. Frederick on the ball again. Rodriguez. Schmidt. Rodriguez. Zilla. Idea was there with Schmidt. Would have really opened things up in the channel for Houston. Strelnauer. Swan. Strelnauer. Into the box for Garcia. Guarded by Barrett. And Barrett's got the best of Garcia many times today. Gets some help though. No cross, but it is a corner. And it's Aguirre to take. Vadosov just going to break things up once again and getting a little chippy on these corner kicks. Aguirre. Near post, punched away by Valdez. Aguirre. Opportunity for a second ball, and it's off of Gonzalez. Less than half an hour to go. A change coming for Colorado. Amadou out. Ricardo Pena in. Should note that because there is a concussion sub now, it does mean Colorado gets an extra sub in this game. They do not get an extra sub window, just an extra sub. Schmidt. All the way back to the midfield. Anor turning on the Jets. Nearly past Baluz. Strelnauer. Valdez. Slices it out of play. And it rattles into the crowd at SaberCat Stadium as the sun starts to go down in Houston, Texas. Dynamo 2 with a slight lead over Rapids 2 in MLS Next Pro. Schmidt looks ahead. Gonzalez playing centrally now, asking for help. Valverde. Barrett. Garcia. Rapids playing through it. Pena. Eric Boucher mentioned Pena and his improvements this year. Whipped into the box. No one on the end of that. Schelnauer was the target. A pretty obvious foul on the far side. Jones, professional, as he didn't want that to be a breakaway, but it does result in the first yellow card we've seen against Rapids too. So Nate Jones booked now.
Colorado Rapids 2, number 45. Correction, number 56. Number 56.
So we'll see this again. Yeah, just a professional foul.
Yellow card, number 56, Nathaniel Jones for Colorado Rapids 2.
Pena. Frederick. Breezes past two defenders. Aguirre. Flores. Pena. Flores, Pena has some time. In the final third now, Schmidt just hanging all over Swan. And our assistant referee makes a call. It's a short corner for Colorado. They've had so many more set piece opportunities than Houston. And now that they have the 6'6", Balou's in there too, perhaps he is the one to finish for Colorado and bring us level. Aguirre. He's taken all of them for Rapids 2. Off his left foot. It was Jones, but not on target. In fact, it goes wayward and outside. Aguirre wants a second ball, but he has no space as Gonzalez stands in front of him. It's a nice ball to Garcia, though, and Medina collapses in. Here comes a corner for Aguirre in Colorado. Aguirre on the outswinger. Schmidt read that nicely. Gonzalez wants to go. Looks around for some help. And Garcia might have tugged on his jersey. And now we get the call. Garcia going to get a yellow card. And the reason is because he's done it so many times. He was warned, remember, he kicked at Awadesu way back in the corner at the beginning of this half, right after a foul was called, and there he tugs on a kit of Gonzalez, and so 3 strikes and you're out. essentially. There's the yellow for Garcia. That's 2 quick cards for Rapids 2. We saw Jones get one shortly. Or I should say,
Yellow card caution has been
not too
issued.
long ago.
Colorado Rapids 2, number 57, Rogelio Esparza.
Campagnolo, he hasn't had much to do in this half. Really in this game. Neither of these goalkeepers have been tested, but Campagnolo had to go up against a penalty from Gonzalez, and it was a well-taken one. Looks like Kiernan Sargent's going to come in for Houston.
May I have your attention, please? 78
Schmidt out.
minute, 78. Substitution in the Houston Dynamo Rose. Leaving the field, number 22, Dave Schmidt. Coming into the field, number 3, Kieran Sargent.
Pena. Sargent. Valdez. Lenore, and of course, as the 9 has not touched the ball much in this game for Houston. And if they're able to walk away with a win, it will be impressive when you just consider the lack of chances. Silla gets around Pena. Lovely ball ahead, Honor, and it's swiped. Campagnolo comes out, and the 17-year-old keeper disrupts that opportunity for Houston. Gonzalez Silla outside the box. Honor turns, fires. He's high with it. Well, right on cue, I was just talking about how Houston had not created much. That's 2 pretty good chances in a row. Silla. I think there was just some question of who was going to go for that, Reed or Honor. They're occupying the same space. Jones. Pena. Baluz. Strelnauer didn't make its way to him as it ricocheted off of Rapids 2 and out. Sargent on the throw. Medina. Valdez. Flores. Frederick. Sargent hanging on him. Strelnauer. Cross. It was Garcia through the air, but not on target. Pena. Baluz. Strelnauer. Gonzalez. Strelnauer earns it back. Swan, it's behind him. Garcia. No space to shoot. Barrett doesn't allow it. Garcia now fires. And it was a tight angle. Valdez. An easy stop for him. I think Barrett's had a really good game defensively for Houston. He's marked up well against Garcia. Valverde. Sargent. Valdez. Now a Desu fouls. And Jones and Colorado on a free kick now. Colorado 4 losses in the last 5 games. Even walking away with a point would, I'm sure, feel like a step in the right direction. But it's been since August 7th, the last win for Rapids too. Can they make a late comeback? Aguirre. Jones being sort of tugged at. That's going to take us to the hydration break here in Houston. The second half.
The referee has indicated that a hydration break will commence. The break will last up to 3 minutes. 3 minutes, thank you.
Take a look at how Houston took the lead in the first half. It starts with this transition opportunity, one of the only really solid transition opportunities we've seen from either side. Amadou steps on the heel of Silla. That means the captain, Diego Gonzalez, can step up to the spot and bury the PK. That would make it 1-0, and that's where we stand. Got 15 minutes to go here in Houston. And the Rapids have been in the final third more. They've had the advantage in set pieces. Shots are fairly even. I think Colorado's going to walk away very frustrated, having not scored if they can't find the equalizer here, just given how this game has gone. Houston going to make some changes.
Leaving the field, number 9, Steve. Coming into the field, number 20, Mateo.
Exxon Aruzo will come in. Andy Batua also in.
Second substitution for Houston Dynamo. Leaving the field, number 19. Leaving the field, number 19.
And then Alec Diaz will enter for Colorado.
Number 7, X. Aruzo. Also, 78th minute substitution in Colorado Rapids 2.
So some late changes.
Number 72.
Could those be the difference?
Coming into the field, number 47, Alec Diaz.
Randy, you there?
Well, for Houston, Badioa, a Colombian, was signed very recently at the end of August. And It's heralded as a very strong addition to this roster. Just hasn't had a lot of time to get acclimated. But maybe he could provide some cushion.
Put on a forward for fullback. He fell down. They put on a forward.
Valdez.
So they might change this again.
Silla. Awadesu. Valdez. There's Diaz, a new addition for Colorado with some pressure in front. From San Juan, Puerto Rico. Does have 8 caps with the Puerto Rican national team. Schellnauer was out. Sargent. Baluz wins that head-to-head. Ten minutes to go, but because of the hydration break, we'll have a lot of added time. Valdez. Pena for Colorado. Aguirre. Centrally, now wide for Rapids 2 on the road against Dynamo 2. Swerving now to Pena. Frederick reaches for it. The other way was Silla. He's calling for help. Silla drives forward up the pitch. Badiola shoots, texture to it. My goodness, what a goal. Badiola. It's 2-0 Houston. This is quite the shot. The bend to that, beautiful stuff. And as I said, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but said he might be a difference maker in this game, and he does. The Colombian international comes in and perhaps puts this one away for Houston. I think everyone was stunned for a second, even his own teammates. It wasn't a celebration right away. Really was a great goal.
And attention, please. Goal score, 82nd minute. Number 20, Andy Badiola.
Well, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're Rapids too. Kind of felt like they had some momentum with all of the set pieces they were earning, and now down 2-0. Might be too big of a comeback for Colorado to make. You know, this team went through a transition recently as Marlon Vargas was loaned out to New Mexico United of the USL Championship to end that USL Championship season, and it's an identity issue for Colorado because Vargas had 10 goals and 6 assists with this team. He led the way. a leader as well off the pitch, according to Boucher. So it made things very difficult for a Rapids team that was already struggling to pick up wins. And now they're just struggling to find the back of the net against Houston. Staring at their second straight shutout loss if they can't at least score. Baluz denies the opportunity. Badioa. It's funny, on that goal and on that build, Silla had, here he is again, Silla in the midfield had told Badioa, go, get forward. And it results in a score for Houston. Sargent, Silla, heel pass. Badioa. Well, he made his presence known in this game with the second goal. Colorado. Flag goes up, offside the call. Maxwell Simpson will come in for Colorado.
In the field, number 57.
Logan Batiste as well.
Coming into the field, number 48, Logan Batiste.
Frederick out.
Also in the field, number 24, Whitey Frederick. Coming into the field, number 78, Macho Simpson.
Just a couple minutes to go. Houston in prime position to walk away with 3 points. It's exactly what they needed to do. Diaz. Schelnauer fouled right outside the 18. Well, it's Diaz who stands over the ball for Colorado. It's going to be a frustrating day for Rapids, too, unless they make some magic happen late. Aguirre, some bend to that one, but it ends up with Valdez. Swats it down, and Valdez just going to kill some clock here. Slams off Swan, who shoots and scores. Things just got interesting. Colton Swan Makes it a 1-goal game. Trouble clearing for Houston. Just a dangerous pass. Valdez right off of Swan. Doesn't get enough height to it. And the 17-year-old tallies. That's the second goal this year, and both have been against Houston.
Goal scored on the 89th minute by number 90, Cole Swan.
So it turns out that second goal is very important for Houston. Patillo. Strelnauer. Aguirre falls. Flores, Pena with some life for Rapids too. Valverde. Transition now for Houston. Reed's an option in the box. No call. Reed off his body and cleared out. Arzu, excuse me, was looking for the call. It doesn't get one wide on that drive. Now it's Rapids with possession as things start to open up. 6 minutes of stoppage time. That is plenty of time for Colorado to get the equalizer. Baluz. Gonzalez gets in front. It's undercut. That was a tough landing.
6 minutes added in the second half. 6 minutes.
And Valdez scoops. Quick passes, Swan. Pena. Baluz. Way high. And fielded there by Valdez. Slice stop for Rapids, weak side ball. Strelnauer fighting for it. Batioa up the flank. Centers now off his right foot. And there's that bend, but no one there for Houston. Pena. Off the mark on that one. Is it a corner? That's the question. Now a goal kick for Houston. wash for Houston. Diego Gonzalez penalty in the first half, and it was 1-0. And then things started to open up here in the second. Barrioa comes in, and he scores for Houston. And you think, okay, this is the end of the game, but then Swan just tallied for Colorado, and with about 90 seconds left, you wonder if Colorado can walk away with a point or even two. Remember, if they do tie things up, we'll go to a shootout here in MLS Next Pro. And so whoever wins the shootout can walk away with 2 points, which at the moment, Houston needs a lot more than Colorado, but Colorado's looking to have fun with things, play spoiler on the road, and just get a positive result after a series of tough ones. Some work to do for Colorado. Flores. Houston says he was out. Center now. Aguirre. Valdez slides on it. There's the final whistle. Colorado made it interesting, but it's a 2-1 victory for Houston over Colorado here in MLS Next Pro. A much-needed 3 points for Dynamo 2. And they assert dominance at home. Let's take a look at the man of the match. And it is Andy Batioa at the end of this game. This is the 82nd minute. It's the second goal for Houston. It ended up being the game winner because of Colton Swan scoring for Colorado. So he comes in for just a small chunk of this game and ends up being the Adidas man of the match. Batioa, the Colombian, a very, very beautiful goal. Well, that's going to do it for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. I'm Maura Sheridan. Once again, our final score, Houston Dynamo 2, Colorado Rapids 2, 2-1, a victory for Houston. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long and MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Have a fantastic night, everyone.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.